Hey guys, what's going on? Today we have some more cope to cover, and the cope that we're covering today has to do with the Steam Deck. Because even after 3 years, Harman Smith, a Nintendo fanboy, is still coping over it. I mean, just this last year, Harman has made 9 videos coping about the Steam Deck. But he uploaded another video today talking about the Steam Deck, and I thought it was worth covering. I think you guys are gonna like this one. But let's not waste any more time on the intro to today's video because we have quite a bit to cover. Alright, let's go.
Steam Deck fans are playing the victim. After like 3 years of whining about Nintendo constantly.
Man, how many seconds are we into this video and he's already saying something hypocritical? You have done nothing but whine about Steam and the Steam Deck for years now, but we're the ones constantly whining.
Pretending as if the Steam Deck was this huge cultural phenomenon, bigger than the iPhone.
Yeah, I don't recall anyone saying it was going to be bigger than the iPhone, and if somebody did say that, they're brain dead. This is a very niche device targeted towards people who have gaming PCs and want to play their PC games on the go. Whereas a cell phone is like an everyday necessity in today's society. You need a phone to do a lot of things.
Steam Deck was never going to take off. It was never going to become successful. It was never popular. And yet, for like a good long while there, people seriously thought this thing was going to eclipse the Switch in relevancy.
I mean, if the Steam Deck wasn't a success, why did they go ahead and drop a Steam Deck OLED like a year and a half after, I think it was? You know, I'm no business major or anything, but when you release like a successor to a product, it's probably because the original product did pretty well. As for your claim about people thinking this will eclipse the Switch in terms of relevancy, I don't think anyone seriously thought that. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, it's a very niche device, whereas the Switch is a mass market device. The Steam Deck is catered towards users that want to mod their games and play PC games and really tinker with things, and the Switch is kind of marketed towards people who just want to pop in a game and play. They want something simple. I view it like Apple versus Android in a way. You can do a lot more things on an Android, but a lot of people will stick with an Apple iPhone because it's so simple.
Now that we have the Switch 2, the Steam Deck is completely obsolete. It's not obsolete, you know.
The Steam Deck is obsolete because the Switch 2 is out? Bro, they do completely different things. The Steam Deck is to play PC games, the Switch is to play Nintendo exclusives primarily. Does this dude just think the second the Switch 2 comes out, everyone's Steam Deck is about to fucking explode?
The thing didn't even last 3 years. It sold less than the Wii U.
Yes, because the Wii U, despite not selling that well, was still a mass market device, whereas the Steam Deck, at the end of the day, is still niche.
You know, it was a complete train wreck. And now that Nintendo fans are pointing and laughing at Steam Deck fans for hyping up a dead platform.
I mean, the Steam Deck isn't really a platform, it's a handheld PC that uses the Steam platform, and if you're seriously gonna claim that Steam is dead, bro, in 2024, like every single month, Steam was breaking records. Also, do you have any sort of source that Steam is a dying platform? Who am I kidding?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Now they're playing victim. Oh, Nintendo fans are just obsessed!
Jesus Christ, my ears, dude. This dude got so mad, he literally broke the sound barrier, bro.
You know, like, I've been seeing a lot of, PC people, like, making these claims that, like, oh, Nintendo fans, they're obsessed with Steam Deck. Like, they make fun of us constantly, and, like...
Yeah, I don't really see that happening, but okay.
They really don't. Are they really going to try and pretend that they weren't the problem, you know? Like, are they really going to act as if you can't go back through, like, the past 3 years of Harman Smith content?
As someone who's seen your content for the past 3 years, I wouldn't recommend going back. and checking out the last 3 years of Harman content.
And see me, you know, kind of expose these people and kind of talk about how ridiculous they were.
Bro, we're the ridiculous ones? In the same video where you call us the ridiculous ones, you screamed so loud you broke the fucking sound barrier.
Oh, Nintendo fans are just obsessed! Not only, like, with the Switch 2 situation, but even when the Switch 1 was still in the height of its relevancy. You know, Steam Deck fans were trying to say that, like, Steam Deck is better.
I mean, dude, it was objectively better. It had more power, it could play more games, more Nintendo games, it could play Switch games, sometimes better than the Switch, and you had access to everything on Steam. It had a desktop kind of computer built in. Dude, it was objectively better. Come on, let's be honest.
Like, it was just... It was, like, embarrassing and unbelievably cringe. It was the gaming equivalent of, like, the Brony community.
Bro, there's no way this shit is real. Apparently, Steam Deck fans are like the Brony community. For those of you who don't know what a Brony is, it is a grown adult male who likes My Little Pony. You know, it's always entertaining to tune into a Harman Smith video because you never know what sort of outlandish, just nonsensical take like this he's going to make.
We're big cloppers, so that means everyone should be a clopper, you know? Like, look at this, look at, like, how many, like, YouTube views I get. Like, you know, being a clopper is normal, you know? Like, that's the mentality of the Steam Deck fan.
Yeah, so I actually had to go ahead and look up what a clopper was, and apparently it's some sort of, like, Brony term. You know, it's kinda strange that you understand these terms. Were you a part of the community, my guy?
Because they don't have any degree of normalcy. You know, they don't have any games, like, they don't really use their hardware. Their hardware isn't really that good, honestly.
Alright, let's address both of these claims. First of all, Steam has, like, something, I think it's like 81,000 games, whereas the Switch, I think, is like 4,000 or 5,000. But, you know, Steam is the one with no games. That's not even counting all the games you can emulate and stuff. Second of all, you say the Steam Deck's hardware is not good, but it's infinitely superior to the Switch, so what does that make the Switch's hardware?
Right, compared to the Switch, it's, like, kind of embarrassing. Like, the Switch's price point is lower.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the price point is a little bit lower for a base Switch rather than a Steam Deck, but then we have to take into consideration the fact that Nintendo games never go on sale, whereas Steam has massive sales all the time, so over time you're saving money with the Steam Deck.
Like, there is fundamentally no, like, advantage to owning a Steam Deck.
Yeah, there's no advantage to owning a Steam Deck over a Switch. Just make sure you brush aside the fact that you can mod your games, you can play infinitely more games, you can customize the graphics on games, you have a built-in desktop, you can actually play more Nintendo games than the Switch, you can connect any controller you want to it. I mean, I could keep going. Make sure you brush all that to the side, though.
Like, when was the last time you have ever heard a Steam Deck user actually playing Steam games on Steam Deck?
I don't know, man. I remember viewers of my channel telling me all the time back around Christmas that they got a Steam Deck for Christmas and they're having fun playing insert Steam game here on it.
You know, it's always just like, oh, I'm pirating some old Nintendo game, and it's just like, just own a Switch.
What if I want to play a game that isn't available on the Switch, huh? Last time I checked, I can't play The Wind Waker or Twilight Princess on my Nintendo Switch, but I can play it on the Steam Deck. In some games, like Ocarina of Time, you actually get a PC port, and you can customize settings as if it were a PC game. You can put on texture packs, mods, stuff like that. Whereas the Switch just gives you like an old-ass port with a choppy frame rate.
All that's happened over the past several months is that, like, people have become aware, general audiences have become aware of the stereotype and are now clowning on them for it. Valve fanboys, the steampunks, they are getting defensive. They don't like the fact that Nintendo fans are beginning to clown on PC gaming.
Oh shit, dude, how am I ever gonna sleep at night knowing Nintendo fans are clowning on my platform of choice? Truly a tragedy.
You know, people are beginning to realize that emulation is illegal, you know?
Don't you shill for Nintendo Switch Online, a service where they offer you emulators? I guess we gotta send Nintendo to jail, folks.
people are beginning to realize that modding hardware is illegal.
Yeah, how dare you mod the console you bought with your own money? You'll own nothing and you will be happy.
This is what the PC community has become. You know, a bunch of pirates who genuinely think they should be able to pirate games for free if companies don't give them what they want.
I mean, first of all, that's not the entire PC community. Tons of people only play on Steam and buy all of their games. And second of all, that's not emulation, that's, once again, piracy.
PC gaming isn't built up like upon liking games or playing a lot of games or caring about games or knowing a lot about them. Like, it's built up on this myth that PC gaming is inherently superior to console gaming.
I mean, this is ironic when you consider the fact that every single video game is originally made on a PC and then ported to a console. Without PC, there would be no gaming.
Even though that, like, even the most casual of casual gamers know that isn't true. In fact, like, that's the reality of the PC master race. You know, at this point, like, I have more respect for, like, the annual sports game playing and the Call of Duty audience. You know, that's how low the PC gaming community is. Like, they are lower than the mobile game community. You know, they are just the bottom of the barrel, just degenerate, just unhinged trash.
Well guys, it's time to admit the truth. We are just scum. We are unhinged scum, and Harman Smith has zero respect for us. Whatever will we do? Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here. That's about as much as I can listen to today. My brain cells are screaming for help. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, you can leave a dislike and a mean comment, and yeah, that's it. I'm out.